Pangulong Duterte ay nasa ilalim ng protected person under the executive order issued by the US President Trump, which imposed sanctions on the International Criminal Court. Kasi si Presidente Trump, hindi niya gusto yung ICC, di ba? Hindi nga nakilahok ang Amerika dyan. Si PRRD nga ay protected person sa ilalim ng executive order. Eh, sino ang mako-cover sa asset freeze under Section 1 ng executive order ni Presidente Trump? Ang parusahan ang mga sumapi sa pag-aresto, katulad ni General Torre. Ngayon, mismo yung spokesman ng ICC sabi, desisyon niya ng pamahalaang Pilipino. Hindi kami yan. The crime of arbitrary arrest and detention is clearly a grave threat. So, hindi ba liable si General Torre dyan? Yes, I'm in full agreement with both our senators. And certainly, the comment that there was no plan until they received the Interpol warrant or diffusion order is highly doubtful. Pati yung New York Times, alam yung balita tungkol sa plano. Bakit tayo walang maibigay na plano sa ating komite? Pagkatapos yung complete video na hinahanap ni Senator Cayetana, tama po kayo. Hanggang ngayon, hindi pa nabigay.
Pero baka kasi kasama sa 80-page plan yung paghuli kay Senator Bato. So hindi talaga pwedeng ibigay muna sa atin.
Senator Bato, anong comment nyo dan?
I'm waiting.
Magkapit bahay tayo O sige, ang liwaliwanag na meron talagang extensive and exhaustive plan, 80 pages, then the administration was already anticipating the application for a warrant of arrest and the issuance thereof. It's also apparent there was some kind of communication and coordination with the ICC. It's well known that some officials of the DOJ as well as high-placed officials from other departments and from other branches of government already visited The Hague and perhaps even met the president of the ICC in Japan. So we are very deeply concerned about this contradiction in the claims. Kasi ang liwaliwanag na may communication and coordination na, tapos may sinasabi pang mga official channel through DOJ sa The Hague, backdoor channel, bakit tinatago pa ng gobyerno? Tapos na to Tapos na ito, hindi na siya national security issue. How could the administration have known for weeks, if not months, in advance that the ICC will issue a warrant of arrest if, as claimed by the Secretary of Justice, the country was not communicating with the ICC? Parang hindi ka panipaniwala na gulat naman tayong lahat. So
Madam
sana yan klinaro nila. Yes, Senator Cayetano.
On your point that feel free to interject, just on the point of ongoing investigations, o may kaso ba? I was really deeply disturbed and shocked when Secretary Boying Remulla told us that lahat nung this is my words so I will refer to the record naman sa eksakto niyang sinabi at yung terminology, but sabi niya, Senator Bato, nung huling hearing na parang lahat, and you might want to refute that if you have information, but sabi kasi niya lahat daw nung wrongful death po yung ginamit niya ay wala daw record, walang blatter, wala daw talaga. Tapos halimbawa may gunshot wound, tapos nakalagay cardiac arrest, di ba? I don't know if that is cardiac arrest because of, I don't know. But ang point ko lang, na-surprise at na-shock ako because when I was in the cabinet, before kami mag-explain abroad, hindi binubunot sa hangin yon. Nagmi-meeting yan, whether with the DILG or whether with the Chief PNP. I have had several meetings with Senator Bato when he was Chief PNP and I was still a senator. Kasi hindi naman ako magsasalita dito na hindi ko muna tinanong sa kanya. So, aside from yung mga ni-reveal mo na very telling details, I think we owe it to the public. Yung sinabi po ng, let me frame it this way, no? Kung pro-Duterte ka, you want accountability. Yes, but we want accountability here in the Philippines at yung tamang process. Kasi two wrongs does not make a right. If you are anti-Duterte, you also want accountability. But you also want to do it right. Because two wrongs doesn't make it correct. Meaning, kung ma-dismiss yan sa ICC o kaya mag-change ng administration, balik na naman. So, whether you're pro or anti-Duterte, we want the rule of law. Gusto natin tama. Last point lang, Madam Chair. Yung chilling effect, di ba? So, kapag yung pinag-uusapan whether yung warrant arrest sa mga cyber libel or, tignan nyo po ilang taon na ba? 2016, 2025. 9 years ko nang kadebate si Senator De Lima, just like some others of us, former Senator De Lima, 9 years, di ba? 9 years na. Usually, yung usual, 30,000 yan, 16,000. So nagsasagutan kami sa issue. First time na nagdebate kami 2-3 weeks ago, ang una niyang sabi, dapat yan si Cayetano kasama sa ICC. Di ba? And then after that, naglabas sila ng redacted. And then mayroon ding iba like former Senator Tria. Marami pang susunod diyan. So may chilling epekto. Sa akin okay lang kasi sanay akong takutin di ba? Sanay naman na ganun. But ang point ko lang, Madam Chair, that's why we have to get to the bottom of this. For example, in the case of Senator Bato, kailangan alam natin pagka may lumabas, can he have his counsel of his own choice? Can he be examined by a doctor? Pwede ba siyang mag-resist kasi wala naman Philippine order? Pwede ba siyang isakay bigla sa aeroplano? Mabigat yan, baka ma-overloading yung aeroplano. No? So, dinadaan ko lang po sa biro, pero hindi biro yung ito. Let me stop with one example, ma'am, ha? Kasi maraming progressive groups. Siyempre, dahil nga sa history kay President Duterte, so I'll assume good faith sa progressive groups, ha? Assuming na human rights activists sila, assuming na may mga napatay na extrajudicial killing, naisip ba nung progressive groups na yan na pag biglang may nakitang hukay, wherever in the Philippines, kahit sabi mo yung hukay na yan ay 20, 30, 40 years na, at may 50 nakalibing doon, or 43, katulad na rin lang nung kay President Duterte. Tapos ang sabihin nung kusino man, let's say retired military or retired intelligence officer, sir, mass grave nung komunista yan. Pinatay yan during 2012. Nung pinatay yan, 2012, may ICC pa. Payag ba tayo na yung mga progressive group, pati yung mga congressmen na progressive group, ay bigla na lang kukunin, isasakay sa airplano, dadalhin sa Hague, na hindi sila makakapunta sa Philippine courts. So, whatever kasi we decide here and whatever as a nation we decide, Madam Chair, is applicable to all of us. Di ba yung sinabi ni President Erap na weather lang yan? Kaya kailangan may batas. Para kahit anong weather, klaro yung karapatan mo. So, let me stop here, but thank you for that intervention, Madam.
Maraming salamat. At meron ibang katanungan yung ating mga kababayan. At ito naman yung tungkol sa executive order ng US, Noong March 28, ang sinabi ng gobyerno, ICC has no jurisdiction. Etong taon na ito, This is just the latest in a series of statements na ang ICC walang jurisdiction dito sa ating bansa. Gusto ko sanang tanungin ulit sa ating executive kung ang dating Pangulong Duterte ay nasa ilalim ng protected person under the executive order issued by the US President Trump, which imposed sanctions on the International Criminal Court. Kasi si Presidente Trump, hindi niya gusto yung ICC, di ba? Hindi nga nakilahok ang Amerika dyan. Under Section 8D2 of the EO, any foreign person who's a citizen or ally of the US that has not consented to ICC jurisdiction, o parang Pilipinas, over that person or state party is a protected person sa ilalim nung kay Presidente Trump. So ang Pilipinas, hindi na state party. At yung executive, sinasabi naman na hindi talaga ICC ang may jurisdiction sa atin. Kaya gusto ko sana tanungin, si Presidente Duterte ba ay isa sa protected person sa ilalim ng executive order ni Presidente Trump? Non-NATO ally na former or current official. So gusto kong malaman kung si PRRD nga ay protected person sa ilalim ng executive order, sino ang mako-cover sa asset freeze under Section 1 ng executive order ni Presidente Trump? Pwede bang parusahan ang mga sumapi sa pag-aresto katulad ni General Torre? Anong mangyayari kina Garma at kina Leonardo? Kasi ang pagkaalam natin, yung iba sa kanila at yung pamilya nila ay nasa Amerika na. Sakop ba sila nung executive order ni Presidente Trump? So, yan ang mga katanungan natin kasi lumalawak na lumalawak itong pagsisiyasat natin. Umabot na sa US kung saan alam natin, nagtatago sila. Kaya nag-aalala ako, ano ba nangyari rito? So, paano yun? Gusto ko sana ipaliwanag ng ating justice, pero wala sila. Kaya justice lang po tayo. Pero importante po to. Ngayon, yung administrative arrest, may DOJ local opinion, legal opinion raw, na lumabas noong November 21, 2024. Nakita po namin ito nasa website ngayon, nag-disappear na. Hindi na siya nandun. At ang liwanag doon sa legal opinion na mismo yung DOJ USEC na sumulat nito, ang balita ko si USEC Chan, the DOJ does not consider an Interpol Red Notice an arrest warrant. Ang liwanag naman doon. At sinabi rin na the Philippines cannot deport your own citizen. Ang liwanag ng pagkasabi. The ICC, again, no jurisdiction. Then the ICC warrant could not have been the basis for the arrest. Kung yung red notice o diffusion is not a warrant of arrest, ang tanong ko, ano ang legal basis ng aresto? Ngayon, ang sabi ng gobyerno, yung turnover to the ICC was a surrender. Surrender na po to under Article 17 of RA 9851 and the Rome Statute, walang pakialam sa Rome Statute kasi hindi na nga tayong member. I need to point out that before they can actually surrender PRRD, they have to arrest him to have him in custody. If there was no warrant issued by the court for PRRD's arrest, does that mean that it was an administrative arrest? Was the administrative arrest valid? Was the DOJ or whoever ordered the arrest empowered under 9851 to effect an administrative arrest? Nakakatuwa kasi kanina nabasa ko lang sa dyaryo, tamang-tama, na yung spokesman ng ICC, Dr. Fadi L. Abdallah, sinabi that the surrender of former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte of the ICC to the ICC was a decision entirely made by the Philippine government. And if there is any question about whether it was lawful or not, it will have to be submitted to the judges. So, mismo yung ICC, sinabi na ang Pilipinas ang nag-surrender sa dating Pangulo. Siguro, si Attorney Medina na naman, magpapasaklolo tayo. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng administrative arrest? At tama ba na sinuko ng Pilipinas si PRRD sa ICC?
Magandang umaga po, Madam Chair. Thank you for the invitation. Good morning po, Senator Bato de la Rosa. Good morning po, Senator Bongo. Going back to the question, administrative arrests. Actually, the Supreme Court has recently clarified that administrative warrants for the arrest of non-Filipinos are actually valid. But these administrative arrests apply only to non-Filipinos in deportation proceedings. At least from the case decided by the Supreme Court, it involved a foreigner. Now, we must also take note that in that recent case, that's a landmark case, because in this decision, the Supreme Court introduced an innovation. Historically, administrative arrests, deportation process are purely administrative, no court intervention. But this time, the Chief Justice, who wrote the decision, and upon the suggestion of Supreme Court Justice Marvick Leonen, they introduced a new rule. Under this new rule, even if a person, a non-foreigner, is arrested on the basis of an administrative warrant, they must still inform the regional trial court and wait for the regional trial court to issue a judicial commitment order. Therefore, there's now a duty on the part of police officers or immigration officers, even when arresting a foreigner, to bring this person to the jurisdiction of the courts. So this represents a new trend. If a foreigner should be brought to a Philippine court before he is removed from the country, with more reason that a Filipino citizen should be subjected to some judicial proceedings before surrendered to a foreign government. And as I have explained earlier, from the constitutional level, from the statutory framework, even under international law, surrender of a Filipino citizen without court proceedings may be illegal. That's not just constitutional, that's also statutory, even under international law. In fact, the Interpol Constitution itself requires some due process, the application of Philippine laws, and number two, the application of the rights guaranteed by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which includes due process. Thank you po.
Attorney Medina, so ano ang nakikita ninyo kung inaamin ng ICC na ang surrender ni dating Presidente Duterte ay isang desisyon na ginawa ng Pilipino na pamahalaan? Anong epekto nun? Ang ibig ba sabihin ay linabag yung kanyang karapatan? Kasi tulad nga ng sinabi nyo doon sa kaso ni Yuenle noong 2023, bagong-bago pa lamang, talagang kinakailangan, dalhin pa sa RTC yan, meron pang proseso. 7 yata yung requirement. Kung naalala ko, ang dami-daming sinasabi doon na talagang pinagtatanggol ang karapatan mismo ng dayuhan. Eto, Pilipino pa. Ngayon, mismo yung spokesman ng ICC sabi, desisyon niya ng pamahalaang Pilipino. Hindi kami yan. So, anong epekto po noon doon sa nangyari kay Presidente Duterte?
Madam Chair, just out of respect for the court proceedings, so as not to be seen as influencing the court proceedings, I will not make my statements in specific reference to the President. if a future issue, a similar issue comes up, okay, extrajudicial surrender of a Filipino citizen to a foreign state or an international tribunal would be in contravention of Constitution on several aspects, of the revised penal code on several aspects, and international law, not just the Rome Statute, the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, the United Nations, the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, and even the Interpol Constitution, if the surrender is upon the request of the Interpol. All this, the entire legal framework when it comes to deprivation of liberty requires court intervention, requires court level due process.
And by court po, you mean local court?
Yes po,
Filipino
local
court in this
domestic
case.
domestic due process. The entire idea of due process is really can be simplified as follows. The police has no final authority to decide on whether a person should be deprived of liberty. That authority to deprive a person, to declare that a person will be, or to decide that a person will be deprived of liberty, that is not the authority of the police. That authority is lodged only in the courts of law. The police cannot at the same time be the judge. That's essentially due process and separation of powers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's loud and clear. That the police cannot be the judge in determining the deprivation of liberty of any person. So maliwanag po yun. At kinakailangan na maliwanagan sana kung totoo na inaresto si dating presidente sa ilalim ng RA 9851, kung talaga bang administrative arresto, kung nandito sana sila, napaliwanag nila sa atin at totoo at nagkaliwanagan tayo. Pumunta naman tayo sa dako ng ating video. Ito naman si Attorney Delgra. Kasi nakita rin natin kung anong nangyari dito, no? Yung video kung saan si Attorney Delgra ini-invoke yung Article 59 at ito ay tungkol sa pagdadala sa local court. Panoorin po natin, pero si General Torre, hindi nakikinig. Kaya sana, nandito siya para maintindihan natin bakit wala siyang pakialam sa pagpapaliwanag ni Attorney Delgra. Ayun, maliwanag na ang ini-invoke, ang sinasabi ni Attorney Delgra was Article 59. Why is it na sinasabi paulit-ulit ng DOJ na Rome Statute, ang ICC, Article 59, does not apply? Gusto ko lang ipakita yung certification ng DOJ. Kaya nalilito tayo pa iba-iba. Andyan yung certification ng DOJ. Eto pa, hindi natin maintindihan yung date. Kung makita ni Senator Bato, ang date po niya, yung aresto March 11, na-certify lang yung warrant ng DOJ sa sumunod na araw. Wala na rito sa Pilipinas si dating Pangulo. So, ang certification sumunod sa aresto, March 12. Ang aresto March 11, maalala ninyo. Yung certification, March 12. Pagkatapos, ang sinasite dito, eto na naman, ang sinasite dito, Part 9 of the Rome Statute, Article 59.4, Article 59.7. Nakakahilo po, kasi ang sabi nila, hindi na nag-a-apply yung ICC at hindi na nga tayo member. Bakit yung authority sa pag-aresto, paulit-ulit na sinasabi kay Attorney Delgra, pati na rin dito sa DOJ circular, na ito ay dahil sa Article 59. Kaya nga, kailangan ipaliwanag nila kasi hindi natin po maintindihan. General Torre also claimed that he arrested E.S. Medialdea. Makikita natin yan for the obstruction of justice. Ayan, mas kabisado na ni Senator Bato ito kesa sa akin, ha. He admitted that he even handcuffed him. At binasahan pa siya ng Miranda rights, kung maalala natin dun sa video. Kung ganon, kung inaresto niya si E.S. Medialdea to the local court, bakit hindi niya dinala sa presinto o inarestong totoo? Bakit imbes na arestuhin at talagang ikulong, pinadala pa sa Hague? Parang anggulo. Kasi nung nandito si General Torre, talagang gustong-gusto niya yung Article 125 ng Revised Penal Code kay PRRD. Pero bakit kay E.S. Medialdea, inaresto niya, tapos hindi naman niya kinuha? Imbes, pinasakay pa niya ng eroplano. Nalilito kaya ako. Tama ba yun? Hindi ba pag inaresto mo, ito turn over mo na o ikukulong na? Paano ba ang sistema, Senator Bato?
Dapat talaga, inaresto mo na eh. Hinangkap mo na. So, ano pang next move doon?
Kaya nga nakakapagtaka, pinagbiyahin niya. Tama ba yun?
Kung alam makapagsabi na tama yun.
Oo nga. At eto pa, nung si General Torres sinabihan, si Attorney Delgra ang susunod na aarestuhin. Ano to? Pananakot ba to? Or talagang sinasabi niya kung anong gagawin niya next? Was he going to arrest him for what? Was Attorney Delgra committing a crime? Wala naman di ba sa video? Nakaupo lang yung tao eh. Tapos, bakit hindi niya tinuloy yung aresto kay Attorney Delgra? Gusto ko sana siyang tanungin eh. Bakit hindi niya tinuloy kung talagang may krimen na nagaganap ni Attorney Delgra? Dapat, inaresto din niya. Ba't hindi niya ginawa? Kung wala namang krimen, ba't siya nananakot? Was this a threat? If it's a threat, isn't it the crime of grave threats na bawal sa ating kapulisan? Article 282 of the Revised Penal Code, threatening to commit the crime of arbitrary arrest and detention is clearly a grave threat. So, hindi ba liable si General Torre dyan? Bilang tanyag na pulis at general, di ba, Senator Bato, ano sa tingin ninyo?
Hindi lang liable, Madam Chair, kundi sa nakikita ko, talagang lasing na lasing siya sa kapangyarihan. Mukhang he went overboard. Lahat na lang binayulit niya.
Kaya nga, sunod nga eh. Parang hindi naman tama to. Kaya sana nandito sila, pinagtanggol nila yung sarili nila kasi marami sa atin. Nagtataka, bakit ganon si Medialdea, nabasahan na, nahandcuff na, tapos hindi naman kinuha, pinabbiyahe. Tapos yung isa, tinakot ng tinakot, wala namang ginagawa. At labag yun sa batas eh. O sige, iba naman topic ngayon sa doktor. Ito naman tayo sa doktor, ano? Dahil mapunta tayo sa ibang usapin, marami tayong naririnig at alam natin na may mga doktor na tumingin kay Presidente Duterte. Tignan natin. Ang balita, ang sabi, si Presidente Duterte tumaas ang blood sugar. Meron tayong nakikita dyan at ang balita, ayun, ayan, tumaas daw ng lampas ng 300 kahit may insulin shots na siya. Hindi bumababa ang kanyang sugar for diabetes management, meron siyang insulin, pero nandun pa rin sa 328 ang kanyang blood sugar. He was advised, because of his acute diabetic complications, na magpahinga muna. Hindi naman ako doktor, pero yung 300, talaga nakaka-alarma, di ba? Pakataas nito. Oo, bulag ka na talaga, at tulog ka na ng tulog. Nakita nga natin na nakatulog siya, di ba, doon sa isang maliit na upuan. Bakit? Pinagpilitan pa rin ng mga otoridad na dalhin si PRRD. Tapos may stopover pa sa Dubai na napakahaba, kahit ganito yung kondisyon niya. Sino yung doktor na pumirma ng travel certification? May balita kasi na ayaw ni Colonel Dr. Donald Palma, yung cardiologist ng AFP, ang sabi daw, lahat ito daw kasi maraming nakarinig, na wag daw ipagbiyahe kasi may sakit, mahina yung kondisyon. Pero pinagpilitan. Sino si Dr. Jonathan B. Rico? Was he the commanding officer of the Air Force General Hospital? Bakit pinagpilitan na magbiyahe kahit ganun kataas? Hindi ba may Hippocratic Oath ang doktor na nagsasaad na kapag may sakit, obligasyon mong alagaan? Bakit ba nagmamadali? Hindi ba pwede magintay ng ilang oras para bumaba yung sugar, mabigyan ng gamot? Anong mangyayari kung pinahinga muna ng ilang oras o ilang araw para bumaba yung sugar? Nakakapagtaka. Isa pa, hindi naman niya doktor to Bakit hindi siya pinayagan na patawagin yung doktor? Di ba doctor of choice? Parang counsel of choice, katulad ni VP Inday. Yun ang pinipili niyang abogado. Ang sabi nila, napakarami ng abogado dito. Hindi naman yun ang counsel of choice. Ito rin mga doktor na to, hindi naman doktor niya. Personal physician ang sabi. So lahat ito, nasa military facility under the command of General Cordura. Na hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin sumisipot. Ilang beses sinabi ni VP Sara nung nakaraan, bakit yung AFP pinayagan ang PNP mag-take over ng Villamor? Sino nag-utos?